In 1895, this 50-second silent film, shot by the Lumiere brothers showing the arrival of a steam locomotive at a station, featured a single, non-moving, unedited shot, which was a completely normal scene and aspect of everyday life. This film short not only immersed but amazed and astonished the audience, who, not used to the illusion created by moving images, were rumored to have actually retreated to the back of the theater before stopping and cheering the experience. It has been this immersion and engagement that filmmakers have been striving to recreate for more than 125 years. The tools and techniques they have used have greatly improved in quality, but largely remained the same, and have provided a similar level of immersion until now.
Hi, I'm Ed Smith. I'm the television production teacher here at Key West High School, and I've been teaching for the past 20 years. When I first started teaching, the technology was very limited for presentation. We were using slides, and a slide was better than a television because it could be projected up onto the wall and seen by an entire class. This was very much the analog days. The pinnacle and the peak of our technology was VHS, and popping that VHS and tape in allowed moving pictures to be played back. It was a lot more efficient than a film or a film strip, and definitely more interactive than a 35 millimeter slide. This brought on our first technology war between beta and VHS, and all of our editing was done from deck to deck and with hardware. During this period of time, the highest quality we could hope to achieve was standard definition, or NTSC, at 720 by 480, 720 pixels by 480 pixels high, and that was the best you could really hope for. And most of our really high-end technology didn't even quite get to that 720 by 480 number, so we were struggling to just get that low resolution. But man, the interactivity really sucked in the students and allowed them to create moving pictures and movies and television shows and commercials and public service announcements, even with this basic analog technology. The first really major paradigm shift after I started teaching was the conversion from this analog to digital.
But the imagination and the illusion is what truly entertains us. The magician, the director, has the whole world in his hands. Fire, water, you name it, we control it.
And we went from that 720 by 480 analog signal to a 720 by 480 digital signal. And we took those magnetic tapes and we converted over to our first DVDs. And this was a huge improvement in quality, and that 720 by 480 became kind of a rock solid number. We weren't always trying to get to that higher resolution. We were at standard definition still, but it was digital. And those ones and zeros, man, the quality of that image was better. The better quality, it allowed the capturing of data and the bringing of data from the camera into the computer. It made it much simpler. In addition, digital video editing became a thing. We no longer had to go deck to deck, tape to tape, but we could literally just transfer these files from a tape into the computer and then manipulate them digitally. This was a huge shift, and the engagement of students and the interest became substantially greater with this increase in technology. This is really where we started to use computers. Computers for video editing before this was a theory and something that we really looked for. With the coming of the standard of high definition, everything became more vivid. There was a lot more pixels on the screen to work with. And again, further engaged students. What we are doing now was real. High definition film could go right from the classroom to the big screen or to the television. The engagement became more, the work that they were doing became more real. It became more defined in that if we knew as long as we were working within this 1920 by 1080 resolution of high definition, our film could be on television. Students are engaged by technology. Students are more likely to be interested and focus when they're using things that are cutting edge. So when the change from analog to digital happened, there was a huge amount of excitement. When the change from digital to HD, again, a huge amount of excitement. And we are currently in the newest shift. And this new shift is from a HD to a super HD or ultra high definition. They're calling it 4K. And it still amounts to a super duper amount of resolution on a flat screen. It's exciting because the detail of what you can see now is better than what our eyes even perceive in some cases. The invention of 4K also allows us to do things like camera gimbals and drones and return footage from perspectives in a quality that is greater than the human eye can even see. But all of this, again, still sort of resides on this flat, two-dimensional screen. It's vivid, it's real, it's clear. It is more realistic to look at the screen than actually in some cases looking at something with your natural eyesight. It's amazing, but it's again still two-dimensional, exciting, but what's next? For the past 5 years, we've been watching an emerging technology. One of the most exciting things that we've been watching is virtual reality. About 3 weeks ago, we received our first virtual reality device, an HTC Vive. As most of our technology, as it is entered into the classroom, it's an experiment, an experimental stage, an experimental phase.
Changes the way you look at things. It's just, I feel like I can get interested in actually learning what I need to learn. History seems interesting, science seems interesting. I'm sure math could even be interesting with something like this, and it's just something that I feel can help a lot of students like me who want to learn, but school just isn't for them. I mean, it's summer and I'm here in school just because this is, such a unique and interesting thing. I never thought I'd come to school during the summer, but with something like this.
Throughout all of school, I've always noticed a lot of lessons are either like out of the textbook or they're lectures, and those aren't really engaging with students. It's kind of like, oh, I got to find this answer and then just put it on a paper and that's it. That's all I learn. When you start incorporating games like Kahoot, you feel like people start learning more. And with virtual reality, if you use that in schools, it's not just, oh, I'm learning about this for 5 seconds and I'm done. No, you're putting yourself into this whole different experience where you're going to get more out of it, and you're more likely to remember it.
Things like that I think are very engaging for students. I mean, as somebody who's in the technology field, I always like to see new ways that students can kind of interact and learn better, and I think virtual reality especially is something that students can easily get immersed in, engaged in. They can go to places they normally can't go. They can go on field trips in virtual reality. And I think it's the future of not only of teaching, but in a lot of different fields.
I can honestly tell you that after 20 years of education, this is by far the biggest leap forward, the biggest change, the biggest shift in technology that I have ever witnessed. This takes everything that we've done up to this point from that screen, that flat two-dimensional object, and allows us to transport ourselves somewhere else, somewhere different, an alternate but just as real a reality. The virtual reality experiences that we've had in this very short period of time that we've had this device tells me that this is not just the future, but really the future of education. Education is all about experience and providing that experience to the students. And this is by far the most unbelievable way to allow students to have experiences that they would otherwise not be able to have in the classroom. And it's really going to change things as we know it, not just in the industry of presentation and digital technology, but really change the way we perceive the world around us. In the first days, students had created environments and objects and things within the virtual reality that were absolutely unbelievable. The most amazing thing, perhaps, however, is not the fact that they were creating things in virtual reality, but the fact that one of our students actually created something in virtual reality and 3D printed it within the first week. That means something was created in a virtual environment which actually transferred over into the real world as a physical object. Now that is so science fiction to me, it's almost unbelievable. This is not something that can be used in one class. I can't imagine this only being available to some students. We really want to develop a Key West High School virtual reality lab. It's something that I feel is now. It is something that we can begin engaging students with now. The software that we're currently running is what they are using to build these virtual worlds with, and the majority of it results in industry certifications for the students that are here at Key West High School. The ability to make a creation that is not just two-dimensional, but a world that you can enter, works with all of our software and for a million different things. The students we have working in this experiment are really top-notch, and I really feel like this is the group that was made to carry us into this next generation of media, and I really hope that they're the ones that will take us to that next level and open up the doors of virtual reality to everyone. We look at this as a journey and not a destination, and we're just starting out on this journey. We're in our first few steps, and we really truly hope to not only benefit from taking these steps ourselves, but we also hope to share these steps that we're taking with other people. Our next step in this journey is going to actually be to design and build a computer that will allow us to experience this in the way that it was designed and intended to be experienced. And we were going to document this as well. We hope to document all of our experiences from this point forward, and to really allow other schools and other students to join this journey with us and become part of this new virtual reality revolution. We'd like to make this lab something, again, that's available to every student. It will truly make a difference to the future of our educational process.